One, two, one, two. All right, let's roll.
Welcome. You're listening to the Saddle Up Podcast,
where we discuss everything related to RGV athletics, past or present. We'll catch up with old teammates, friends, and take you down memory lane
with exclusive interviews.
This is the Saddle Up Podcast,
the voice of your covered walkway streets.
So dope.
This is gonna be awesome.
Stay tuned for new episodes every week.
From Bronx Village to the Fieldhouse,
we'll cover it all.
Hell yeah, dude. Carpe diem.
So saddle up and let's go.
Let's go. Saddle up, partner.
G, what's up? Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you, Matty P. I appreciate the warm welcome, man. I'm just glad I haven't been fired yet, because this is my boss right here in the black, and you've been close. You've been close. Yeah. I have been auditioning. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know you have. But man, I think I've made up for everything that I've done or said in the past by getting this guest on, man, the one and only Valley native. Yep. Now D1 coach for East Texas. I believe, Jaret, correct me if I'm wrong. It's East Texas A&M Commerce, correct?
It's just East Texas A&M University.
It's just East Texas A&M University. East Texas A&M University, Division I head coach, man, Jaret von Rosenberg.
Welcome to the show, Jaret. Thanks for joining us, man. You have been a thorn in our sides since you were like a little snot-nosed kid running around Bob Hoffman camp. No, I'm just kidding, man. It's so great. We're grateful for you to be on the show, man. Welcome.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome. It's cool what you guys are doing, obviously, from 956. I've known both of you guys a long time, actually. I'm getting old, which means you guys are getting older.
And then we call it seasoned, my man. We call it seasoned.
Very seasoned. Salt and pepper, baby. Salt and pepper. That's the stage that we're in right now. The beards and the hair, we cannot hide it, man. But we appreciate you being on, man. And I just want to say that I got to see Jaret a little bit ago when he came and played our UTRGV Vaqueros not too long ago. But we're gonna get to that. To that game. Was a really good game. I think the Vaqueros came out on top, but it was a really good competitive game. And we'll talk about your seasons there, Jaret, not just what you're doing as far as like season wise now, but just your whole experience there at East Texas. But we want to start, man. We want to go back because you have an awesome story. You have an awesome journey. I think people can learn from it. I think people can learn from your resilience, and we want to share that. We want to share that. So let's go back to like we mentioned, you're a Valley native, man. You're from Sharyland. So tell us how it was growing up in the Valley at Sharyland. What it was like, what sports meant to you. What's your family? Your family was sports oriented. How did you get into this whole athletics thing, man? I know you're a football player as well.
Yeah, well, it's when I actually talk about it, it is unique. It didn't feel unique at the time,
Yeah.
But my dad operated a company out of Mexico. So we lived on the border in Cimarron, with Sharyland. And now they have a thing called ball is life. I mean, life was sports growing up. They're not trying to make any pun of it. That's all we did. Literally, I mean, if I didn't have, depending on the weather, depending on what I was doing, what type of season we were in, but I was on the golf course if I could be outside. Was setting up pickup games all over McAllen, Edinburgh, wherever we could find a 6-foot court, an 8-foot court, 10-foot court, didn't matter. I mean, it was like we used to. I just don't think people do it as much now, but like we would call and start this is back for texting and group text and all that stuff. And we could call. I could call 4 or 5 people and say, "Hey, we're gonna play basketball here at 7:00," and you'd literally have 40 people show up from all over the Valley.
And
that really creates, and I think that's what's missing. Not to get in the whole when I getting off topic, but like like if you lost, you might not play again for an hour. Like, and
it meant
that
something.
Used to be an actual thing. Like
losing used to have some sort of weight, right?
And people would stack their teams, and there was like three good teams, and everyone else is just kind of watching. No, but so that like that's I think that's a lot where I got a lot of my competitive spirit just growing up in that environment. You know, and playing multiple sports or I never specialized in anything.
I remember that. Now your brother is older or younger than you?
Older.
Older.
He's
Okay.
2 years older. Yeah.
So that had to come into play too, right? Because you're kind of like the younger brother, like trying to be feisty and competitive and trying to play against his friends and things like that.
Did he have a role in your life the way Jordan's bigger brother had a role in his? Michael Jordan's brother, older brother, Larry.
No, I mean he definitely did. You know, being the starting quarterback and just trying to chase. You know, I literally followed kind of in his footsteps the whole day. So yeah, just going back to football or going back to non-singular sport, I just believe, like if you're actually competing to win a game, that's hard to replace. I know practice is important in everything and training and working on your craft, whatever it is, and how to be basketball. It's all important, but like you've got to compete to win. Yeah. And I think that's why sports is so important in general. And that's why I'm a huge proponent of multi-sport athletes. Even now, even recruiting now, if I find out if we're looking at multiple guys, but one guy played 2 or 3 sports, the later they played it, some guys will quit in high school now. It's gotten a little bit different because coaches are wacky too at the youth age. But
G is a multi-sport athlete now because he took up, he's trying out for football and he also took up hobby horsing. So like
Jared, listen, man.
he's trying in his latter seasoned years, he's trying to do multiple things, right? He's trying to play golf.
Jared, there's a reason why I continue to work out and try to stay in shape. Just to, you know how it is, man. We got to be ready for the opportunity. Just like these kids.
I don't know how it is, but I hear you. I got too much going on. I got a Peloton here that gets used.
You're looking at the Peloton.
Yeah, I'm looking at it while I'm on the
Hey, so and I know we're going to get into your JUCO days as well, because I think that kind of had a big as far as developing you and going into college and playing. But you were a great football athlete, man. You were a great basketball athlete. At least that's what I don't know if you played baseball or not. I'm sure you played everything, but how did you get to your first JUCO, which I had the pleasure of being an assistant coach and coaching you at that JUCO that you ended up at in Collin College in Plano. How did, man, I know that you had some injuries in football and you probably could have played football, but you ended up going the basketball route. How did you land there at Collin, at the JUCO route?
Well, obviously now look at hindsight's easy to say, but I was a better football player than basketball player. But I tore my ACL junior and senior year playing football.
Crazy, man. It's crazy.
I always liked basketball so much more. I like the dynamic of basketball. Like, you talk about a football team, there's 85 guys in FBS. I'm not saying you don't know all 85 names. There's no way you're like having the same type of relationship you are when you have 13 to 15 guys in the locker room.
That's right.
I like the dynamic of that. I like the world aspect of basketball. The type of people you get to meet. It's just obviously a much more global sport than football. But I like those things about basketball. And then you don't have to come off the floor. I led the country in minutes my senior year. You don't have to come off the floor, so like that you can play both sides of the ball. Man. That was so I got hurt and then got lucky. To be honest, I had some the ranking system and stuff, and I had some opportunities. I didn't like. It's funny. I'm coaching in the Southland now, but I had such a negative taste or such a negative perception of the Southland growing up, but it's because I knew Texas basketball, Texas football, like the
That's
University
right.
of Texas,
Yeah.
Big
Texas
time
A&M.
stuff. Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I going to go to this small school? And that's just me being ignorant, immature, not knowing anything really.
Yeah.
Right.
Agreed.
Now in hindsight. And so when I had the option, I was like, I'll go JUCO and then see where else I can go.
Right.
And so many people told me I had 4-year offers even after being hurt. And I probably will. I mean, I'm just lucky that my parents let me actually make the decision because I don't know how many kids are actually able to make decisions these days.
Think for themselves. Yeah.
And my grandmother wanted to strangle me because I was going to go to a junior college over a 4-year school, and I was like, it doesn't even.
And this is pre-portal. Let's kind of set the time.
This is like
this is pre-portal.
Yeah, this is this is way.
This is where you make the commitment for 4 years, and that's where you stay, right?
Yeah,
or make the commitment for 2 years at JUCO, right?
Yeah.
So
So I went. I had coming off 2 injuries. It was probably the safer play to go to a 4-year school, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I've never really done anything safely in my life when it comes to making decisions on stuff like that. So it all worked. I mean, it all worked out.
So you ended up.
I did know I was competitive. One thing I did know is I was competitive enough to go somewhere. I wasn't worried about sitting on the bench or.
Yeah.
I have that conversation with I have conversation with our own players. This might sound conceited. I've never sat on the bench in any sport in my entire life. Like never.
Yeah.
I don't know how guys feel when they're sitting on the bench and they don't get to play. But that doesn't mean. Then I always say it doesn't mean you still have there's a teammate and then there's playing and not playing. Like your teammate responsibility is still there regardless. Of your role on the team as far as minutes goes.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Jared, and I can anybody that coached you can attest to this. I don't think you weren't worried about it. It's not conceited at all.
No, it's not.
It's just that you weren't worried at all about what skill level you were going, like what other skill levels there were on the team. You knew damn well that nobody was going to outwork you.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality, man, that a lot of kids, they don't have confidence in. Like they don't know, they can't go in and go, I'm going to outwork everybody here. I don't care who you are, where you come from, what your, ethnicity is. I don't care who you are. I'm going to outwork you. And I believe, man, that you had that mentality with everything that you did.
I remember a story. I don't know if you remember this, but I remember you were at the camp and I think it was like my last year, but I was working camp, extra money, whatever. You were one of the kids in the group, right? Obviously at the skill level, the age group.
Gosh, you're old, Matt.
I knew exactly who you were.
You're really old, Matt.
Yeah. And
you're old, dude. You're old.
We are.
Anyway,
and
go ahead.
You're older than me, by the way. And so I remember picking you and you told me, Coach, I want to win best player, like MVP of the whole camp. Like I want to win the MVP. And I was
I'm sure I was a jackass.
I was like, huh?
I believe that. Yeah. I'm sure he's.
And I was like, this kid, I was like, what high school? I mean, what school you go to? And he's like, I live in Mission, Sharyland, whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, this kid is just. And then literally all the drills, all the games, like that competitive spirit that you have showed. Now I can't remember if they even gave a freaking MVP award for the camp.
Yeah.
But it was in your mind. You had it in your mind that that's what you wanted. Like that was your goal, And so that just speaks to your competitive nature. And that's who I've always known you to be is that I don't want to say is that kid that just would outwork everybody. That's who I've always known you to. So
guys now don't play like it. You have to people don't want to play pickup anymore. The same, like they play, but it's like, like pickup.
There's no purpose. There's no purpose.
There's no purpose.
It was the best thing ever, dude. Like
like Jared. You know what? Like my son's 18 years old. Okay, he's a senior. He's
looking for a place to play, by the way, Jared. I mean,
yeah. I'm sending you. I'll send you video, Jared. Right. But man. He goes plays pickup, and every time he comes back, I said, "Hey, did anybody get in a fight? Did anybody get into it?" He's like, "Nah, Dad, come on, no." I was like, man, every time we played pickup back in the day, somebody was
upset
into it.
Yeah,
that's how competitive it would get.
Yep.
You know,
When
don't
I
know
came, when I came back from it was one summer. I can't remember what summer, what year between junior, senior year, sophomore.
Yeah,
we went and played pickup at Mac High, and there was this kid that I'd never heard of. I'm like, dude, I know every basketball player in the Valley. I mean, from guys that graduated in 2000 to like everyone that can play basketball. We know
old
who
school
they are.
guys that played at A&M. You know everybody.
There's no hiding players in the Valley.
Yeah, you're right.
But JJ Avila was on the court, and me and him got into it. He was like a sophomore or junior,
dude.
And we got into it not because I was a little pissed that he was like being successful against me, and I was like, who the hell is this little kid? But we got into it.
Yeah,
dude, JJ has that mentality, man.
JJ has that old school
mentality. He's the best player ever out of the Valley.
Yeah,
that's right. 100%. I agree, man.
I would say Chewy Guerra, but that's way before. Like Chewy Guerra,
that's way before. Chewy's pretty good.
Yeah, but JJ's really good. JJ's definitely top 5 for sure.
Absolutely,
for sure, hands down.
So Jerry, you went, you kicked butt at Collin, man. He was only there 1 year because he was a qualifier. He was actually smarter than most JUCO guys. Shout out to JUCO. I'm not saying everybody is, but he actually came in with the grades, and he was able to go in 1 year. And then you went to what, Hartford?
Yep, University of Hartford up in Connecticut.
Yeah, wow. Jonah Goldberg has a story about you. He told me before the game, Hartford against somebody, and he's like, man, yeah, he beat us pretty good. So he remembered you, the guy there from UTPA.
Well, I also got the fortune of having a name that doesn't. It's not Smith or it's von Rosenberg. Like
he remembered you, baby.
Name, like you're not gonna.
He said you had like.
If there's anything to remember, you're going to remember it.
I can relate, Jared. Von Rosenberg, Palmquist, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're forgettable,
even have the last name like Garza or Smith.
Yeah. You're very forgettable, though, Matt. I mean, Palmquist doesn't help you at all. But so you went, and how were those Hartford days, man? And how did that kind of prepare you and lead you into the path of coaching?
And that was. I'm so glad that I didn't live in the portal era, that I was not a player. People are thinking that they have an advantage, but I mean, I played a lot my first year. I played 30 minutes a game, I think. But I had an up and down first year as a sophomore. And I just in the back of my head, and people are talking, just how it works. Like people are saying, like, you want to transfer here, transfer there, like.
Yeah.
And I ultimately didn't. That again, I had fear of my head coach. I don't think anybody fears me on my team. I don't think anybody fears any coaches at all anymore. But I was like, dude, I can't go in there and tell them I'm not coming back here. So I just if it was the best thing ever happened to me, that's why I always try to say, like, I'm not saying I was like had this ultimate wisdom. It just wasn't a thing when I was there.
It just wasn't an option.
If it wasn't like you don't do that. Unless something crazy happens, you just don't do that.
Yeah.
But that was the best thing, like, because my last 2 years, and we had a lot of success my junior year with a lot of returners. And then my senior year, our best 2 players, most prolific, we had a really good center and then a really good shooting guard that I played with all 3 years. But they had season-ending injuries, like, in the first, 2 or 3 weeks of the season. So that year didn't go well from a record standpoint. I think we went 10 and whatever, something like that. But just that whole, experience of being with the same guys for that long, and you talk about that small group. You don't like all of them the same. I mean, you guys know it's not. But it's
I'm
still
not a big fan of Lalo. I played with him 3 years, so
I don't think anybody likes Lalo.
Like that relationship, and that's another thing that we're losing. Just a byproduct of the new
era.
Unintended consequences are what people aren't talking about. I like to talk about them because it's not saying it's bad, and I like players having control. But there's some unintended consequences that are going to happen that these guys are not. The experience of playing college sports is not going to be the same as it was the previous 60 years.
1,000% agreed. Because you don't have those victorious laps or those victory laps like you do when you've been at the gutter with those same guys that you had a losing season with the year before, and now you're winning because you put it together. Now it's like guys get a little bit of like second team all conference or newcomer of the year or whatever, and then they're gone. They hit the portal because they know they can get paid, and
you guys were the king of it. Your team has 4 guys in the Southland They were in other teams in the league last year.
Who?
Oh, Vaqueros did? Yeah.
And it's part of the
shout out to Cahill, man.
At least he wasn't in the league last year, so it's not as
that's right.
So let me ask you a question. What does it feel like being a Valley kid and then coming back and coaching in the field house where you would play pickup games or you would come and see guys like G Garza sit the bench? How did that feel?
I get in there for about 10 seconds and then get pulled out for not cutting up somebody else on the baseline.
I came to a ton of games down there, and obviously in the gym all the time. I'm not going to give you a great podcast answer. I don't. There's not a second in my mind that thinks about it from that standpoint. I hate games in general. So people talk about, I don't hear the crowd. I'm
You're just super.
And I'm not even saying laser focus. I just maybe I'm so much into my head about just surviving. I mean, it's just survival. How do we survive? Which means we don't win this game. So, I like being in the Valley in general. Go get me a Q taco and stuff. So that's more what I think about when I get to go to the Valley. I'm going to go get a Q taco. And unfortunately, I don't get to go to South Padre Island because, that's my second favorite place in the world. So,
you're not allowed to.
I mean, I love getting back there. It doesn't add anything for a game. I actually wish I was going down there and not coaching a game. So,
where did you? Just out of curiosity, y'all come in the day before. And you're familiar with the area. Where did you take your team to go eat? What did y'all
Tacos.
Olive Garden.
You went to Olive Garden.
Okay, we had Olive Garden delivered the night before. No, a true story. We played in Laredo I don't know, 6 years ago. Played international, and we got our team Q tacos, and half the guys got completely sick and so we don't do any more.
It's an acquired
station, not traditional meals.
You have, dude. You're our stomachs growing up here.
Oh yeah,
so
different.
They're different, man. We build some kind of immunity to the ridiculous lard.
It's called tolerance. That's what it's called. It's not immunity. It's tolerance.
It's just like Jared. It's just like Matt and I joke. There was a Del Bosque Apartments. There was a pool there. And during COVID, man, anybody that swam in that pool, we didn't get COVID.
Yeah,
we didn't get
swam
sick.
in the El Bosque pool. Years later, when COVID hit, you didn't get sick, right? You were immune to it.
It's
that was the antibody.
concept.
Was the chlorine in the freaking El Bosque pool? Shout out to El Bosque and the Palms, right?
Shout out, man. That's the same concept. So Jared, man, what led you to get into coaching, man? I know you love the practices. You're that competitive person. What would you be doing if you weren't coaching?
Now I'd say I'd be getting into real estate. I'm doing
That's where it's at, man. That's where it's at.
But I love every aspect about it. And I joke, but I don't joke because I've had some success. This is it's literally like relief or complete utter failure. And it's not a good, healthy way to look at it. And ever since my wife's incident, it's actually been a lot better. I've handled this season. I mean, I couldn't even tell you if I went through this 2 years ago. I don't even know. I'd be off the rails.
That's what extremely
good now, but my perspective has changed a lot. Having 3 little kids and going through
just
all
life.
that stuff. So
exactly.
A bigger purpose, right?
And I love the mentorship of it, the whole part of it. and that's what I would miss more than anything, like being around players and seeing them not have success and then have success, seeing them
Right. Yes.
graduate. We've graduated every single student athlete we've had that stayed here. So, and the landscape of college basketball is there's so many different personalities, socioeconomical backgrounds, education backgrounds. You just getting, so many different young men, and you get a chance to help all of them, but all of them in a different way. It's not a cookie cutter thing.
Well, it isn't. Talking about cookie cutters, man. You were not a cookie cutter player. You weren't. You were different. You're different, and your mentality was different. And just like you said, that you had that JJ Avila, Jaret von Rosenbergs. We need more mentalities like that in the Valley, because I feel like there's talent down here that can go and play, but the mentality, man, it's not at that competitive, like, dude, I don't give a shit type of mentality, man. I'm gonna go and outwork you, and that's it. That's what's gonna happen. I think we're lacking that a little bit. But man, you being you, playing at the D1 level, it's just a fun question. You look back at Johnny Manziel, could have made a lot of NIL money, right? Matt Palmquist, dude, that dude was a freaking hero, celebrity on campus.
I would have been living next to Jared and his folks in Cimarron. Like, that's how I would have,
I don't think you want to do that now.
No, I don't. But I'm just saying, man, I would have been living next to you. Like, you would have been swimming over in my pool. Like, hey, we're going to Matt's house and swimming. Like,
dude, he would have had like 2 or 3 apartments like laid out. One at the island, one in McAllen, one in
Q tacos all around.
Omito,
man. With Q tacos, for sure.
What? Do you think like you missed something there, Jared?
This is what I'm glad you asked this question, because I love saying this. More people need to hear this. It's not me telling them why they should do something. But like, too many kids are making decisions on money that they will not have when May hits. So if you're making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, you are going to spend that. Every single one of them is going to spend that money before they get done with that school year. Okay. That is not making money. That's being a little more comfortable. That's not the ones that need to make decisions on that stuff is where you can make life-changing money. Like, if you can make, I'll just go with $100,000. If you can make $100,000, that is what 90% of Americans are hoping to make in 1 year. So if you can make something that, and that's a whole nother conversation about if you have people helping you to keep it and turn interest and all that stuff. But if you can make real money, then make a decision based off that. But if you are making better walk around money, you should be it should be the same. So it goes back to answer my question. I'm glad it wasn't there, because I probably would have made a decision on walk around money that would not have been.
That wouldn't have been in your pocket come June when you're walking around.
I didn't even know what I spent it on,
Dude, 200 pairs of Jordans in your closet. Ridiculous stuff.
And I come from a totally different background. I've never wanted for anything in my life, so I'm not. I try to be on the side. I know that some kid. I never had $20,000 in my hand before bought a house. I mean, I get the allure, but like, they got to understand that that's not real money. It's
right.
It's just comfortable money. It's not you eating ramen noodles like when we did it. It's you eating Olive Garden.
And it's going down to 17th Street. It's like not
good. I totally
You're gonna go right through it.
It's probably gonna hurt you more than it helps you as a basketball player.
It will.
You're right.
In a lot of cases.
And you know why? And I agree with you, Jerry. You know why it's gonna hurt you? Because the mentality is you're 18, 19, 20 years old, and you've got that kind of, whether it's 20,000 or 200,000, it doesn't matter. The tax man is coming. Like, it doesn't matter if you're 16
that's another 20, level right there.
You make money, somebody pays you, the tax man is coming. So they don't even realize that I had made 20,000, or let's say 50 grand this school year. 25,000 should be out the door. If not, you're in the hole and tax man's coming, so they don't have that financial literacy. And I think a lot of schools need to have something in place.
They do, and I think they're working on it a lot. It's just these guys are pulled in so many different directions.
Yeah.
You want to do stuff, but you want like it doing. I think too many of us in general. We do things to say we do them to check a box, the same way everyone does any business. But we need to like be more strategic in doing less, but actually getting things across to
being more impactful.
As many as you can, right? And at some point you're not gonna. There's only so much you can do, but like, I think a lot of times we do too much stuff to say we did a bunch of stuff.
Absolutely.
It's not impactful.
And it goes back to if guys are with you 9 months, it doesn't matter what you say to them.
You're right, man. You're right. And we talk about this all the time, dude. Is that every year, man, you've got to figure out a way to build chemistry quick, man, because you don't have them for 3 or 4 years anymore.
It's like an AAU. It's like having an AAU team, putting together a bunch of guys for an AAU for a summer season and trying to create that chemistry and then get them out the door, right? And hopefully you get back next year. You know, you just never know. So,
well, I'll tell you what, man. After the conversation with Jared, East Texas has their man, and and I know that I know that records will always be up and down, and they'll reflect certain things, but the integrity and the things that you're doing and the way that you do it and the impact that you're having on those kids, even though they don't know right now, when they turn 25, 26, they're going to be like, realize, shit, man, what coach is trying to teach us, I'm using it now. So, man, thank you for that. But, man, I know that we're kind of want to wrap up a little bit, Matt. If you have any fun questions, I know I do. I got a couple. I got like 3 or 4 little fun questions for you, Jaret, before we wrap this up. But Matt, what do you think?
I got one question. I don't know how many games you went to, right? When you were a kid growing up, and you were probably in the middle school era. But who was one of the players that you remember most going to those games? And you don't have to say me because you're on my podcast, right? And you don't have to say G because you're on G's podcast, right? But
so I'm going to tell you one that you might remember. He wasn't on your team. This is how crazy it was. And I met him. He's working for the guy that I played for now. Do you remember the kid Andrew from Centenary? I'm almost positive. He got kicked out of a game. He scored 30 or 40 at y'all's place. Y'all won the game. He broke his nose and got kicked out of the game.
He played for Centenary.
It's Andrew Wiz, but Wiz in that he's on the Manhattan staff.
Wow.
And he played for Centenary.
He played for Centenary.
Okay.
Let's get him, Jaret. Let's get him on the show.
And he had 30 against us in Edinburgh.
Help us.
He is like a guy. He is, and I never met him before until literally this past Final Four because he works. And he was like, "Yeah, play." I'm like, "You got to be kidding me, dude!" I was sitting courtside when he got kicked out, and I always remembered like that was I always like, dude, I want to be like that guy. He was like, same build, like the same person I am today as far as building. And I just thought he was the toughest, baddest MF.
Wow.
And
we got to get him on the show, G. That's amazing.
It is so funny that I remember that. Like, and I don't have a great memory, to be honest with you, about old game. Like, I just, I don't. My wife and my parents always give me a hard time. They think like my childhood was terrible because I don't remember specific things. But it's so cool. So I will connect you guys.
But it goes back to what you said. It goes back to what you said earlier as about the game of basketball versus the game of football. How basketball is a global sport where it reaches so many people. You sitting courtside as a little kid in junior high and seeing Andrew Wisenhouse break his nose and drop 30 on G. Like,
I'm gonna text y'all when we get off. I'm gonna look it up. I haven't even looked it up.
That's so funny, man. I'm
sure it wasn't against me, dude. I wasn't on the floor to experience that.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Okay. But that was my question, and thank you for
so that was actually one of my questions was going to be who would you like to see on the show, and will you help us get them? So that Andrew, that's who we got
look
some
out for
questions.
Andrew.
We got some questions, Andrew. The second man, one of the questions that we had, we have a soundtrack, Jaret. What was the song we'd like on Spotify? We have a Saddle Up soundtrack. We'd like for you to contribute a song that you used to get ready for, man. You used to pump you up before games.
Oh,
back in the day, baby.
Back in the day.
This goes back to my memory. I have no idea what we used to listen to.
How about today?
What's
what gets
the
you
song
pumped today?
My Texas is probably a good one for the last 5-6 years.
My Texas. Okay.
My
Josh
Texas
Abbott
sings that.
band.
Ooh, wow, man. This guy's going red dirt country, baby.
Yeah.
That's the first
the
red dirt
artist?
that we had.
Josh Abbott.
Mhm.
Josh Abbott, My Texas. Okay, cool. Doing it.
It's a good
All
Texas song, especially for these non-Texans that need to learn about.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, who's the most famous contact in your cell right now?
Infamous or famous?
Both. I got one. Mike Mancia, that's the most famous person I got him off.
Yeah, right. Along those lines, Phil Handy.
Phil Handy.
Wow. Okay.
All right,
Who actually
that's a good
worked
one.
with Mike Mancias. So
Yeah,
that's
a
you
good
know,
one.
Phil came down and did a coaching clinic that I put on back when I was 21 years old.
Okay,
Down in the valley?
I kind of remember
Yeah,
that.
at the beach.
Yes,
Really?
yes, I remember that.
Yeah, he came down.
Wow.
It's before he still owns 94 feet a game, but he was running AAU, and he coached one of his first teams was one of my teammates at Hartford. So we met him and
That's
Wow,
awesome,
man.
Phil Handy. Cool.
Phil Handy. Well, let's see if we can help us get him on the show, Jared.
Yeah, let's get Phil
That's
on
what
the
I
show.
got. Let's
Right?
get Phil and Andrew on
You
the
know
show.
why? You know what? Another correlation between Phil Handy and Pan Am is Kali'i Bandaman from Hawaii got kind of highlighted by Phil Handy, and that's what got him into JUCO in Kansas.
oh
Phil Handy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
Yeah. Man, it's a small world.
All
Everything's
relevant. It's
connected.
basketball, like Jared said.
But here's the most important question, Jared. We're going to wrap it up with
go.
this. We asked Lon Kruger this same question, the legendary Hall of Fame coach, the same question. All right. You're at home now. You're playing at home. We're gonna do this in detail. You're playing at home. You're down 2. All right. You're down 2. You call a timeout. I'd say 5-6 seconds left in the half court, right? You got in the half court, 5-6 seconds left. You got to draw up a play. All right. But here's the kicker. Okay. You got Matt and me on the floor. Okay. You got me. Yeah. So what are you going to do, man? You're going to run something to get a lob from Matt, or try to get it inside to him, maybe get a 2, tie it up, maybe get an and 1, or you're going to run maybe some elevated double screens, whatever, to get me open to hit the 3 to win the damn game, man. What you got?
Oh, that's easy. So I'll just run, because I do a lot. We'll throw it into Matt. We'll have the point guard sprinting off Matt. We'll do a keep.
Yes.
So now it's keep it 1 dribble to the rim. Okay. And then we got a flare for you on the backside, a little spur action.
Oh, man.
Backside flare. And
Damn.
so now we want to take the easy 2 if we can, if we're at home. All right.
Yeah.
And if help comes, we'll shoot the 3. So Matt has to be a point forward, make a
I
decision.
can do that. Jared,
Jared,
see me play. I used to bust ass all the time, man. He remembers.
Hold up. I like Jared's political answer, okay? I like it. It's politically correct.
It's probably true, but that's really probably what I would do too.
I mean, I could
is.
handle back in the day. I'm just saying, like, I wasn't your typical power forward at the time.
Okay.
I was ahead
Matt.
I was ahead of the game.
Okay. Matt, you were ahead of the game, okay?
Well, it catches them by surprise too.
Yeah.
But okay, that's true, Jared, and I love that. I love that double option that you're giving us. But while we're breaking the huddle, who are you going up to and going? Are you going, Matt? Keep that MF. Or you gonna, we got to score it.
Hey,
Or,
that's all the
hey,
time
give
we
it up.
had, G.
Or
That's
give it
all the
up to
time we had this week, G. That's
Okay. Or you telling Matt, hey, give it up. G's gonna be open. What you
leave
doing?
Jared alone, man.
What
leave
you
him
doing,
alone.
Jared?
He gave you your
Is it
answers.
Matt
It's not the
or
answer
G,
you wanted.
dude?
You guys are different. You guys are different than the guys that I coach. I'm not giving them any extra information to try to process. I'm trying to keep it real simple.
I'm pretty sure, Matt, because of his dominance in the game, he's going to get doubled. He's going to have to pass it, and I'm going to hit the 3 for the win.
I would pass it to you. I would definitely, know this, Jared knows this because he's been around me for decades.
Yeah.
I would make the right play.
We got, and that's the show. We're wrapping up. We appreciate Jaret.
Jared, you're welcome back anytime, my man.
He is welcome back anytime, man. We really enjoyed your time, and thank you for taking the time and joining us on Saddle Up, man.
No, good awesome. Luck. I appreciate you guys doing this, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Good luck the rest of the season, man.
Till next week, guys. Saddle
keep
up,
being
baby.
An impact, baby. Saddle up.
Like, we weren't supposed to come up with something this clean. Like, something happened.